Psalm 48 is one of the great songs of Zion. It is positioned strategically after Psalm 47, which was a celebration of God's universal kingship. And where that previous psalm declared God's reign over all nations, Psalm 48 focuses our attention on the specific place where that reign is most visibly demonstrated, the holy city of Jerusalem, Mount Zion, the dwelling place of the Most High. This psalm is a psalm of confidence and celebration that where God dwells, there is joy and strength and safety. And of course, as we would expect, the psalm invites us to see the city of God and see much more than walls or towers or gates or guards, but to see the presence of God among his people, which causes them to be safe and satisfied in him. Great is the Lord, and most worthy of praise, in the city of our God, his holy mountain. The psalm begins then, not with the city, but with the Lord. It is his greatness that sets the tone for the city and the glory of Zion. There is a kind of reflected beauty in the city itself. Beautiful in its loftiness, the joy of the whole earth, like the heights of Zaphon is Mount Zion, the city of the great king. God is in her citadels. He has shown himself to be her fortress. Again, that phrase, the joy of the whole earth, is remarkable and ties back to the previous psalm, God being the God of all the nations. But the psalmist here sees beyond the immediate concerns of Israel to recognize that what God is doing in Zion has global significance. The city becomes like a symbol and a source of joy, not just for those who live there, but for all who long to see God's justice and peace established in the world. From verses 4 to 8, we come into a new section of the psalm, which recounts a specific demonstration of God's protective power. When the kings joined forces, when they advanced together, they saw her and were astounded. They fled in terror. Trembling seized them there. Pain like that of a woman in labor. You destroyed them like ships of Tarshish, shattered by an east wind. As we have heard, so we have seen. In the city of the Lord Almighty, in the city of our God, God makes her secure forever. And so the psalmist talks of a particular time when kings gathered together to advance against the people of God. A military coalition, the kind of which would almost certainly spell doom for a smaller city-state like Jerusalem. But something extraordinary happened here. Trembling seized them there, pain like that of a woman in labor. The imagery here suggests something that is like sudden and overwhelming and a signal of things to come. Just like labor pains signal an inevitable birth, the terror of these kings signal their obvious inevitable defeat. There are some occasions that this psalm would map onto quite neatly in Israel's history, but we're not told specifically when. Either way, some supernatural force is defending Israel. That reference there to the ships of Tarshish being destroyed adds another lovely layer of detail. The ships of Tarshish were the massive trading vessels of the ancient world, symbols of human power and wealth and technological achievement. The psalmist says that God destroys them with an east wind, and when he says that, he's declaring that humanity's greatest accomplishments and achievements are fragile when faced with the power of God. From verse 9, the psalmist shifts from recounting God's dramatic intervention to reflecting upon its meaning. Within your temple, O God, we meditate on your unfailing love. The temple, of course, was much more than a building. It was the place where God's people would come to remember and to reconnect with God's covenant love. That they would offer their sacrifices. They would sing their songs of praise. And just notice what they're meditating on here. Not just their power that saved them, not just his justice that delivers them from the punishment their sins deserve, but his unfailing love. In the heart of the city is a temple, and in the heart of the temple is a God. And at the heart of God there is a love that never fails. That is a beautiful and powerful picture, isn't it? And it is precisely this covenant love, this unfailing love, that anchors the people of God in worship and wonder. Verse 10, like your name, O God, your praise reaches to the ends of the earth. Your right hand is filled with righteousness. Mount Zion rejoices. The villages of Judah are glad because of your judgments. Walk around Zion, go around her, count her towers, consider well her ramparts, view her citadels, that you may tell of them to the next generation. For this is our God, forever and ever. He will be our guide. even to the end. This tour of the city is not so much a military inspection, but a spiritual reflection. The psalmist is saying, look around, pay attention to who God is and what he has done and why, so that you can tell the next generation of the goodness of God to you. For this is our God forever and ever, we read. He will be our guide to the very end. What an astonishing and beautiful claim. The God who dwells in the temple, who defends the city, who puts armies to flight and causes kings to crumble in fear. This God is our God, now and forever. For us to do this spiritual tour in our own day does not mean looking at literal stones, but instead paying attention to living stones. What God has built is not just an ancient city called Jerusalem, but an eternal city that will last forever, and you and I are a part of it in some permanent and irreversible way.